Hello, everyone. Welcome to your Check-In with Gwen, a podcast that operationalizes healing, teaching you how to do the mental work and build daily routines that help in the creation of your best life. Whether you're rebuilding after a rough season or chasing a dream, during our check-in conversations, I will demonstrate how to examine wellness utilizing the 5 domains of health. I'm your host, Gwendolyn McLemore, and I'm very grateful that you're here. So settle in, take a breath, and land as I guide us towards a path of healing gratitude. Welcome. There will be roosters in the background. I am currently sitting somewhere 12 stories high, and it is humid. I know you can probably already tell by my face, but this is a hard episode for me to record because I'm entering a rough season. I have been in a rough season, and it's kind of wild because I am still on the trip of a lifetime. And so, yeah, let's get into it. Before we start, if these episodes have been helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. I am also moving on to the platform Substack. I will have that link in the caption of this video. Before we start, the title of this episode is Breakage, Breakdown, and Breakthrough. And let's get into it. Physically, I will give myself a 5. I am feeling drained. I am feeling just irritated. I have a few injuries I'm dealing with from all of my wild adventures, so that's not fun. Also, the part of the video, the part of the title, Breakage, is regarding, like, not only my physical injuries, but, like, my fucking hair is falling out. I'm just really stressed. I am very, very, very stressed. And so, yeah, I'm breaking out all over. My hair is falling out. Too much neuroepinephrine. Let's talk about it. Before making this episode, I decided to deep dive into just some of the chemicals I like to talk about in your brain, right? And neuroepinephrine is a chemical that's like an offshoot of dopamine, right? And so dopamine is your reward chemical in your brain. And neuroepinephrine is the stress chemical in your brain, and it's kind of made from dopamine, right? It's like not the opposite of reward, but it's something that triggers your stress, your fight or flight, right? And it's also the chemical that's like almost opposite of serotonin, of your happiness chemical. And so when you have a flood of neuroepinephrine in your system, you present very stressed, right? That's where the insomnia comes in. That's where the high blood pressure comes in. And your girl's been dealing with all of these things. And so I have not been feeling my best. I've been taking it easy. I have been sleeping more, but I don't know if it's like an avoidant sleep or just like a crash sleep. I have not been working out. I think I've only worked out maybe twice in the last like 2.5 weeks. And so I'm starting to feel a little atrophied. The guns aren't there. Yeah, but on the flip side, I'm doing so much walking. The food I'm eating has less chemicals in America. That's what it feels like, more natural food. So yeah, I'll give myself, like I said, like a 5. I am physically not feeling my best. And it directly bleeds from mental. Mentally, I have felt so much tension the past few weeks. And we're going to dive into all of this. But so much tension the past few weeks. I've had to make some really big decisions, life-changing decisions for myself and for other people. I've had to deal with a lot of like just governmental, bureaucratic nonsense, right? A lot of shit that I don't really subscribe to in my real life. I've also been mentally frustrated. I guess that's more of an emotion, but I've been mentally just frustrated. I feel like I took this trip to step away and try to choose myself. And it's been at a cost and at a time where so many other people need me. And so it takes the fun out of it, right? It puts a lot of stress and guilt into this trip. And I've had to deal with some pretty big situations. And so mentally, it's just, I feel taxed, right? I don't necessarily feel relaxed. I just feel almost numb, disassociating. I'm not feeling very present. Socially, I'm also feeling just disassociated. The part of the world I've been traveling in, they don't necessarily seem like they care for Black people. And so while I've been doing all these great situations and great scenarios, it's almost like everywhere I go, I'm extending grace and open energy, and I'm trying to just immerse myself in different cultures. It would be one thing if it was just awkwardness or hesitation. I could deal with that. But I've been met with a lot of just straight out rejection. And so this trip has not been about making friends, right? And I hoped that it would. I was hoping that I would meet people that would last in my life, and I'm not counting that out. It just hasn't been the case yet. I have had encounters with people more than once, and ultimately they have ended in really funny, ridiculous ways. And so, I don't know. It's just kind of shitty. There are a few people from back home that are interacting and feeling like they're a part of this memory. But then there are other people that I would assume or hoped would be happy for me, and instead it's almost being met with disdain that I've been able to take this moment for myself. That's a part of the breaking as well, just the recognizing that relationships are broken or the connections are broken, which is necessary to grow, right? Everything I'm talking about, I am being ushered into a chapter where I'm going to have to grow in a lot of different ways. And I was hoping that this would be a chapter of automation and me getting to take a break because of how much I grinded these last few years and how much I've built. But that is just not looking like it's the case. And so, breathing through that. Next, we can go spiritually. My spiritual check-in, I think I'm feeling angry. Me and one of my friends have been talking about spiritual attack. I had to put my Instagram and all that shit, which was public, in an attempt to build a brand, right? But I had to put a lot of things back private because I felt like my joy or my adventures were leaving the wrong impression for people, right? And it's just shitty because I feel like people don't come on the internet and say, this is a time capsule of all my worst moments. Instead, people try to put their best foot forward, and I feel like my doing that brought out a lot of shit that I didn't expect to receive. And so, for my own protection and to stop leaving myself so spiritually open, I just had to lock some shit back down. But yeah, the timing of certain bad things happening or unfortunate things happening for myself or people in close proximity to me, it's just reiterating that it's a shitty time in the world, Yes, you can always find joy, and I have been finding so much joy. I've been actively searching. But I also think spiritually, I'm just having this question of what energy am I putting out to be receiving this energy? There's also the knowing and the peace that it's not always that straightforward, right? We all operate on our own timeline, even though we're all sharing this life together. Where I'm at spiritually might not be where someone else is. But I'm also facing this spiritual resentment almost, because I feel like I shouldn't have to do so many protection based things, right? I'm not going to. I feel like my existence is enough. And so I just encourage people to double down on what they believe in this trying time and let that be that, because that's what the fuck I'm doing. I believe that I'm a good person. I believe that I will have great things, and I believe that I want to be of service to the world. And those three things are enough to make me keep going, and I'm going to operate that way. But I also will say, if anybody's sending me any energy that is less than pleasant, I hope you and your descendants get it back. Everything you send to me, I hope you get to enjoy. And emotionally. Emotionally. I feel scared, to be honest. I feel scared. I feel sad. I feel grateful. I feel brave. I feel excited. Honestly, my emotional state is probably the strongest part of my health right now, because it's just such a flow state. Like, these things come up and I allow them, I recognize them, and then I keep going to land in a space that I want to land in. And so right now I'm just choosing like peace and ease. And so all this bad shit will happen. I might cry, I might go for a walk, I might have a drink, I might lay down, I might pray, might not. And then I just get back to whatever I'm doing. Yeah, I feel resilient as well emotionally. But there are also just some shitty things going on. I am all checked in. I hope you check in on yourself. Like I said to start the video, I'll give myself like a solid like 5.5. I'm kind of good, I'm kind of bad, but still she rises, dickheads. Just kidding. But yeah, let's get into it. I discussed the breakage piece of the title, right? Because that is literally how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like physically parts of me are breaking down, which is kind of ass. And so I'm trying to do more healing activities, trying to let the environments I'm in heal me. As you can see my background, there's just so much lush green, so great air, a lot of rain, a lot of fruit. And so I'm just trying to heal myself that way, taking deep breaths, allowing myself to tap in as much as I can. I also kind of talked about the relationship breakage, but it's also just this like idea of breaking up with what success and failure means, right? I have decided, and I'm saying it here now, and so I don't know when I'll publish this episode because I have to talk to my team first. But yeah, something that I have poured my all into and changed so much of my life about over the last 4 years, I am coming to a screeching halt. Screeching halt. And I have to tell everyone, people that I pay for their livelihood, you know what I mean? And it's a funding matter, but it's also just like a bureaucratic matter. Like, my initial contract on this opportunity was only 3 years, and once that 3 years was up, I really did not want to continue. However, I got offered 2 more years, which just felt like such a blessing and such a financial opportunity. And so much of the work I had done these last few years, putting systems in place, making the community impact that I had been making, I was hoping that that would be enough to carry the last 2 years. Instead, this entire 6 months, 7 months of this 4th year, it has been hell. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It has been hell. Like, so many rules have changed, so many obligations have changed, and the latest thing that kind of pushed me to my breaking point to be done with it all is that I've just been told to change a lot of the culturally based pieces of my program. And that is the part that I could not compromise on. And to be told that if I don't make these changes, money would be withheld. And it's been withheld at this point for almost 3 months. And I've just been paying out of pocket with money that doesn't exist, right? I've been paying my own salary to pay my team. I'm just deciding to be done. I have an event that I do, and I've been doing it for the past few years, and it's been very successful, and it's so much fun, and it's so good for the community. And I did so much prep for that event early because I knew I was taking this trip, and I spent so much money early. The event, at the time of this video, the event is like a month away. And within the last like 2 to 3 weeks, I've been told like so many things. I need to change the title. I need to change who's being served. I need to change what I'm doing, change the catering. all these different things. I can't hire the certain type of people I normally hire. And so I do this in a very, administratively is correct, right? The contracts are there, the invoices are there. It's a very easy trail to follow, and it's been extremely accepted and almost promoted as like a model event, right? For where I live. This year, I see my funders helping other organizations throw the same type of event around the same time. But I need to change how I do everything to align with them. And it's just not an option, right? It's not an option. The flyers have been printed. The contracts have been sent. The goods have been purchased. It's not an option, right? And for them to not have paid me in 3 months and then talk about these things that would cost thousands of dollars to change, it's just not an option. And it's just like, fuck you all. You all hired me, you all funded me and believed in me, and I delivered, overly delivered on everything I've ever done. And I feel like there's a cultural mismatch at this point, and I feel like the amount of health and financial detriment this has caused my life, this chapter is done. I am being ushered into another chapter, and while it's unfortunate, the timing of it all, I am not fighting it. I am not fighting it. Because what I would have to do to align with everything they're asking, it would have to be done in a matter of 2 weeks when I get back. And I'm just not doing that to myself. I'm not. Especially if I don't know how I'll be able to pay my team to make all these changes. And so it's been a very hard decision to make, but it's one I've been playing with for about 1.5 years. And I have been trying to ascertain like the spiritual lessons of it all, because once again, the timing just kind of sucks. Like all of this type of stuff happens when I'm on this like life-changing trip, and that's always how things happen. And so that's where the breakage is coming from. For me, it's heartbreaking. It's ego breaking. Professionally, it's a detriment. I hope my team will understand, but I know that it'll be a big loss. And so I've been sad. I've been very, very sad about it. I fought, like I've been across the world taking meetings at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. That way I can be on the other time zone. And I've been trying my hardest. And at the time of this video, like a few days ago, I got a text message just apologizing and letting me know that there's no workaround on certain things. And that's it. I made my choice. And so I have a lot to do when I get back. And I have to share sad news with people that I really care about. And so, yeah, there has been several moments of breakage, and there have been several moments of breaking down. Like, I have just been distraught about it. And so I might even be talking about it in a calm or even way. But this is like an identity-changing moment for me. And with that, not only am I trying to practice all of my healthy coping skills, I've been trying to not rush my breakthrough, right? When we have these earth-shattering moments, my normal used to be to try to clean it up as much as possible, contain the damage as fast as possible, right? If I am having a breakdown, if shit is falling apart, I'm trying to catch it as much as I can to minimize the damage. And this is one of the first times in my life that like my hands are up and I'm letting all this shit rain down. I'm letting it rain down. I'm letting it consume me. I'm letting it be a disaster. I am. And I'm not rushing my breakthrough of what I'm going to get from this. And if you know me, this is just such a different stance than I normally take. I am always solution focused. I am always on to the next idea, the next bag, a way to minimize hiccups. And this feels like one of the biggest rug pulling moments that I've ever had. And because of that, I am going to see what's next from the universe. And I don't know if it'll be a next idea. I don't know if it'll be a phantom helper. I don't know if it'll be a bigger disaster by me taking a stance. I truly don't know. But what I do know is that this breakthrough will be epic. I do know that I'm putting my best foot forward. And I know that I'm being honest with myself. Are there mistakes that I've made? Sure. Sure. Everyone does, especially when you're learning something new. But for the most part, I'm allowing the dominoes to fall to see what I see. And I don't know if it's the pace of life that made that change. I don't know if it's me not wanting to go through the highs and lows of panicking to get a response. I don't know if it's my spirituality and my faith. But what I do know is that this next breakthrough, I have to become someone that I've never been before. Like I just did with this program, right? And there's a little bit of whiplash with that. My check-in tip of the day feels kind of generic, but it's twofold, as always. My first check-in tip of the day is that you don't always have to be ready, right? You don't always have to be ready to put your best foot forward. You can put your best foot forward with a whole host of shit going on. Your best foot forward is something to me that means being authentic, like authentically in touch with yourself. And if that means that the next thing you have to do is try to get in touch with yourself, that is the best foot forward. It might not be a direct solution to what's going on in your life, but if you are truly trying to get aligned, what do I want from a mental standpoint? What do I want from a physical standpoint? What do I want from a financial, spiritual, social standpoint? What do I want? What do I feel like I have? What do I feel like I need? What do I feel like I can do in this moment? That is your best foot forward, even if it doesn't seem like a clear solution to your problems. And so that is my first check-in tip of the day, right? Be kind to yourself when you're nursing your next breakthrough. The second tip of the day is dealing with that chemical, right? Norepinephrine. It lives in your brainstem, right? That's where it's created. And like I said, it's kind of an offshoot of dopamine, right? That reward chemical. Also, it's the opposite of serotonin. And so me painting that triangle for you, that picture, is like, if you can't just tap into happiness, that's okay. That's okay. It makes sense if you're flooded with stress that you can't just access happiness. Sometimes what you can access is satisfaction. Sometimes what you can access is like the minimizing of the physical stress response. And so for me, I'm right here with it. So many neck massages, right? I'm paying a lot of attention to my neck. I am trying to nurture my mind and my body connection because I'm trying to minimize the shit flooding my system. At one point, I was getting a shit ton of massages like a week or so ago. I stopped that because now mama needs to be smart with her money since they're fucking playing with me. Yeah, I am doing things. I'm taking cooler showers. I am resting my eyes in the morning. I'm not instantly hopping onto my phone or my emails, right? I'm like literally sitting here eyes closed or in low light. I am just trying to soothe myself and calm myself. I'm laying off the caffeine because I normally don't do caffeine at all. But when I was in the last country, they were so caffeine heavy that I was just like jittery as hell. Cutting back on the drinking. I had went months and months and months being sober. This trip, I have not been that. So, yeah, just trying to soothe my nervous system. And I'm trying to give myself small moments of satisfaction. Not necessarily of success, just satisfaction. The exercise thing, I'm like, okay, I made it up yesterday. That was nice. I don't know how I feel today. Maybe I'll just do yoga on YouTube. Satisfaction, even if I don't necessarily feel successful. Just reframing to stop flooding my system with so much stress. Yeah, it is a tough fucking time in the world. And so if you feel like you are in your season of breakdown or breakage, just know that breakthrough is a part of that. And I don't know what my next breakthrough will look like. I am just going to go steady with some of the plans I made, some of the timelines I made before this trip happened. And yeah, I hope you guys are still along for the journey. I am sending you love, light, and gratitude for spending some time with me. Remember to check in with yourself and to be gentle while doing so. Check in with your loved ones and a stranger, and I'll be here to check in with you soon.